beautiful shot of our start platform here at Lake Natoma for the 2018 USRowing Youth National Championships. You see all of these crews starting, and it doesn't look like we're going to have any issues coming through 100 meters, so we should have a good, clean race here. Looking at some of these crews, we have Atlanta Juniors in lane 4. They finished second in the Southeast. We have 2 novice freshmen in the karate boat in lane 5, which is pretty amazing. In lane 6, Harriton High School is the Philly City champions. And the Lakeside boat in lane 1, they were third in the Northwest. They have 1 senior, 1 junior, 2 sophomores, and 1 freshman. So a very diverse crew there in terms of ages for that Lakeside boat in lane 1.
So a good amount of experience, varied experience. Some of these athletes have rowed at the Youth National Championships before. Some of them brand new to the sport of rowing. And that's what's so great about this event is that you can be very successful very quickly, or you can work for your whole career just to get to this point. So right now, what we're looking at is a good challenge between Lakeside and Mountain Lakes as we come up to the first 500 meters. It looks as if Mountain Lakes might have a slight lead over Lakeside, maybe just by 1 seat.
Yeah, that's right. This is a C final of the women's lightweight youth 4, and it does look like Mountain Lakes in lane 2 with a lead, maybe about a half a length over Lakeside, but also out there, and we couldn't see them in the early shot, is that Philly City champ Harriton High School in lane 6. So they are right there in the mix. They may be very close to even with that Mountain Lakes boat that we called out in the lead. So the top 3 is some order of Mountain Lakes, Harriton, and the boat in lane 1 from Lakeside. Then in 4th place, it appears to be the boat in lane 4 from Atlanta Juniors. And then the boat in lane 3 from Manhasset High School in 5th, Parati in 6th at the moment.
That's right. So all crews just past 500 meters in. As we come down the race course approaching 750 meters, it'll shake out a little bit. There'll be a little bit more separation. But right now, it is that outside lane. We haven't seen this too much this morning, where Harriton High School rowing out of lane 6 looks to have a pretty solid lead right now by 2 seats over Mountain Lakes. Mountain Lakes sitting 2 seats over Manhasset High School, and then falling back to that 4th place position, it will be Lakeside. Right behind them, by a little bit of open water, in lane 3, Manhasset High School in the 5th place position, but with Parati right next to them. So all boats now approaching the halfway point. Harriton High School doing a nice job pushing their bow in front, but being challenged by Mountain Lakes.
Yeah, those 2 boats really too close to call. They are stroke for stroke, but one's in lane 2, one's in lane 6. So good luck for these coxswains to figure out exactly where they stand in relation to one another. But they are really going at it in those lanes 2 and 6, Mountain Lakes and Harriton. And then also pushing up and having a nice race here in the second 500 is Atlanta Juniors. They are in lane 4. They're sitting in 3rd place for sure over the 4th place boat, which is in lane 1, Lakeside. So those are your top 4. And then it's deadlocked. It's basically dead even between the remaining 2 boats, Manhasset and Parati.
All right, all boats approaching 1,000 meters. This is the point in the course where they get a little bit of exposure, a little bit of wind. It actually seems like it's calmed down just a little bit as we come through the afternoon. Not too much heat to speak of. So it's really just perfect racing conditions for these guys out here on Lake Natoma. Harriton High School really taking advantage of where they're at and making sure that their coxswain stays savvy and looking all the way across at lane 2, because Mountain Lakes is really making a good push here towards the halfway point. Atlanta Juniors also making a good push at 1,000 meters to go. So those are your top 3 boats right now: Harriton, Mountain Lakes, and Atlanta Juniors. A little bit too close to call between Mountain Lakes and Atlanta Juniors for that 2nd or 3rd place spot.
Yeah, you saw that white buoy. That's halfway, so they're only halfway through this race. And here they come. They're all the 3 of those boats that we were just talking about are connected. Here comes Atlanta Juniors putting on a push at the halfway point, it appears, because it's starting to get a little closer between Mountain Lakes and Atlanta Juniors. But they are trailing just slightly, probably by about 3 or 4 feet. Harriton right in front of us here in that pocock that's starting to move off of the camera to the right. That is your leader in lane 6. It would be, I think, the only lane 6 winner, if they could hang on, that we have seen at this USRowing Youth National Championship here this weekend. But look at that race. It is so close right now between Atlanta Juniors and the boat at the top, Mountain Lakes.
And these top 3 crews have open water over the rest of the field. It looks like Lakeside is still in that 4th place position, but being challenged by Manhasset High School as well as Parati. So kind of 2 races going on. You've got the top 3 up in front, and then behind them by open water, you've got Lakeside, Manhasset, and Parati all battling it out at 750 meters to go.
That's right, 750 meters to go. And you get this overhead shot of the crews or the side-by-side again. Look how close it is. And these 2 crews have really tracked down Harriton, it appears. It does look like Mountain Lakes might actually have the lead now. And Atlanta Juniors may be either dead level or slightly ahead of Harriton. So Harriton was your leader to 1,000, but I think they've dropped to 3rd place. So we'll see what kind of response they have as these 2 crews kind of push a little bit past them. What's interesting is we have lanes 2, 4, and 6 here. So we have vacant lanes in between each of these 3 boats that are connected up front.
So coming into the final 500 meters, we're going to find out exactly what we've got here as it shakes out coming into the final strokes. Let's see whose sprint is going to be most effective. Harrington's had a great race, a great middle of this race. So let's see if they can wrap it up and have an effective sprint, maybe stay in front. But that Mountain Lakes boat is pretty fast, and they're turning it on right now, as well as Atlanta Juniors. And just behind them, by about 1.5 lengths of open water, continues with Lakeside, Manhattan High School, and Parati, all right next to each other.
Yeah, this is amazing. Look at this. It's a vacant lane in between each of these 2 races within this race. This is the C final of the Women's Lightweight Youth 4, and we found 3 boats that have very similar speeds that are out in front, and 3 boats that are trailing those 3 out in front that have very similar speeds. This is amazing. I actually haven't seen anything like this in a long time of announcing races where we have something like this going on. But it looks like Mountain Lakes, and they're getting challenged still by Harriton. Harriton is ahead of Atlanta Juniors at this point. So it's Mountain Lakes trying to hang on up there in lane 2. Harriton starting to really push it here as we approach the red buoys. Almost 250 meters left in this C final.
I think David's more confident than I am about calling who's in the lead, because it is so close between Harrington and Mountain Lakes for that top spot. So as they come into better view, the geese better get out of the way, because these boats are barreling down at them right now. It is Mountain Lakes closest to the shoreline, looks to have a very slight lead over Harrington. Harrington taking the stroke rating up. Right behind them, Atlanta's Juniors, definitely in the 3rd place position. And then in 4th, it looks to be Manhasset High School. Looks like they've taken over that 4th place position from Lakeside. Lakeside in 5th, with Parati in 6th. So coming into view here, let's see who's got it. Is it going to be Harrington to hold on to the top spot, or Mountain Lakes?
Yeah, this one's going to come right down to the line, lanes 2 and 6. So many lanes in between them. Atlanta trying to wind it up and get back into the mix. They were there for a long time with these 2 boats. But it does look like it's going to be Mountain Lakes probably, but we'll see as they come into view. Wow, these crews really laying it out here. And look at all of this connection. What a beautiful finish in the C final of the Women's Lightweight 4. It is going to be Mountain Lakes holding off Harriton ahead of Atlanta Juniors. And then it's going to be Manhasset ahead of a photo finish. I'm not calling it. That is one of the closest finishes of the entire day between the boat from Lakeside and the boat from Parati.